for this class.
I think he's talking about when Hyperclass and you heard it on your YouTube video. That's a jet's head.
Alright.
Jet, why don't you just sit right there?
Get out of your system? Okay. So today we're going to be doing Unit 8, Introduction to Geometry, and our lesson is going to be focused on triangle classification. This is lesson 5. So before we can get into operations with triangles, we need to learn how we classify triangles. Alright, so every triangle has two types of classifications. Marco, what are you doing? We talked about this. Alright, so every triangle has two classifications. You can classify a triangle by its angle measures, so by angle, and by side. So those are the two classifications that you can use on every single triangle, okay? So every triangle has both classifications. So these are the 4 types of angle classification. 3 acute angles, angles that are less than 90. 3 congruent acute angles, all the angles are the same. We call this an equal angular triangle. So we have an acute triangle, an equal angular triangle, a right triangle, 1 right angle, makes it a right triangle. And then we also have an obtuse triangle, which has 1 obtuse angle. Okay? A triangle can only have 1 obtuse angle. It cannot have more than that, or it's not a triangle. Now, there are 3 classifications by side lengths. We have what we call an equilateral triangle, which means all the sides are congruent. We have an isosceles triangle, where at least 2 sides are congruent, or a scalene, where none of them are congruent. So, isosceles triangle means at least 2 congruent sides. So, all equilateral triangles are also isosceles, because they have at least 2 congruent sides. Common tick marks, see these marks on the side, of triangles indicate that the sides are congruent.
Put it away. Or bring it to me.
Jet, what did we just talk about?
Angles.
Congruent. Okay, that's the symbol for it. And common arc marks of angles indicate the angles are congruent. So these help us identify congruency. And congruent sides and angles have equal measures. Okay? Is everybody good with that so far? Okay. So, now we're going to go ahead and we're going to classify these triangles by their angle measure. Okay? We're going to classify.
Stop.
No.
Do that again.
We're classifying by angle measure. Okay?
Yep.
So, all of the angles in this triangle are what?
Irregular.
Is that yours right there?
Equal.
Equal. So it's
yeah,
an
yeah,
equal.
Isn't that 180?
I'm not asking you to add anything. So an equiangular triangle is the angle classification of a triangle that has 3 equal angle measures. Everybody see that? Now the next one, we're going to try to identify what kind of triangle this one is. So I look at my angle measures. Remember, classifying by angle, we only care about the 4 angle classifications. We're not looking at the side classifications.
Right?
It is. Good. It's a right triangle. How did you know it was a right triangle? Because it has a what kind of angle measure?
A right one.
Which is how many degrees?
90.
90. It's this that tells us that, okay? You can't just go by that it looks like a right angle. It has to say that it's 90 degrees or use the right angle symbol, which is a square. So don't be fooled by what the picture looks like. Make sure you read what the measure says. Good. Acute.
Wait, but that's the same one as the first one.
No, it's not.
Oh, never mind.
So this is an acute triangle because all of the angle measures are less than 90 degrees.
That's last one is obtuse.
Good. It is obtuse. Why is it obtuse?
Well, because they only find 90 because they moved down because it's just only by 22.
Good. It's bigger than 90. One of the angle measures is bigger than 90, okay?
Yeah.
Is everybody good with that so far? Does anybody have any questions about it so far?
Wait, that's it for the notes?
No, we're not done. I'm just checking in with you. Alright, now we're going to classify by side measure. So, you see on your notes it has the table for side and angle measures. We're looking at the sides. Good. So, see how these two sides are congruent? They're equal measure, meaning that this is an isosceles triangle. Two sides are equal. Okay? Does everyone see how this is an isosceles triangle? What do you think about the next one? Number 6. Good, scalene. So this is a scalene triangle because all the sides are different angle or different side measures, right? They're different lengths, which makes it scalene. It is scalene, good. So this one is scalene because once again all the sides are different. And this one is equilateral, good. Why is this one equilateral?
Because they're all the same.
Good. So not too bad, right? So far? Does anybody have any questions or need more time on this slide? Alright. So the next slide, we're going to use the information that we've just learned to find some missing values on the triangle. Okay? So, see these marks on the sides? These mean that the sides are what to each other? If they have the two. Equal to, or what's the word we use in geometry? We filled in the blank on your notes. Congruent. So congruent sides have equal measure. So when this happens where they have the same tick marks, what you can do is you can set those two expressions equal to each other.
They're acute angle.
They are probably acute angles. What? When we finish, yeah. So what we're going to do here is we're going to solve for y. So we're going to subtract 4y on both sides. That's going to give me 2y equals 12, which means that y
is by equals 6.
6. So how would we go about then finding the actual side measure? So the side measure is equal to y, right? Or the side measure is equal to 6 times y, or 4 times 6 plus 12. So we have to plug it in for y, don't we? So 6 times 6 is equal to what?
36.
Good. And all of these have equal side measures. How do I know that all the sides are 36? They're all congruent based on the arc marks. See those? I mean the tick marks. So, you could also have plugged it in for this one, and you would have also gotten 36, right? So all of the sides are 36. All three. What? I'm just showing you. So you understand the concept behind it. Are you good with number 9? We good for number 10? So it says an equilateral triangle has side lengths of 2x and 3x minus 60. Find the value of x. What would I do here with those two expressions they gave me? If they're equilateral, what do I do? Caleb, you know?
You set them equal to each other.
Good. I would set them equal to each other because they're equal, okay? And then you're just going to use algebra to solve here. This is the only way to do it.
Like negative 1.
So negative x is equal to negative 60, which means x is equal to positive 60. Now to find the lengths of each side, we just plug in 60 for x, which gives me a side length of 120. So all three sides are 120. And they don't give you units. Had they had given you units, then you would have put them on, but they didn't. Okay. All right. I'm going to go ahead and pass out the homework. Now remember, if you do your homework but don't submit the homework to me, I don't know that you did it. So you have to make sure you submit it.
Uh-huh, I think I did, for the last one.
It's funny because I did something.
You're welcome. This is all the stuff that Jet left in the room, so I had it collecting in the back, and I'm like, go take it and put it somewhere so you can get the extra credit. I was like, I'm feeling like a hoarder with all that stuff. Yeah. I can't keep track of my own stuff. I don't want.
It is scary.
Okay.